Hey, what's up, Black people? Hope you guys are having a good day. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and the Black Business School. And I want to welcome you guys to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. This is where we keep it Black and intelligent and positive and productive and amazing and extraordinary and everything else. And I want you to say it loud. Say it loud if you're Black and you're proud. Say it loud if you are a person that believes in building the community. Say it loud if you believe that the future of Black people is going to involve independence and strength and power and all the other great things that are going to make us amazing. Say it loud if you want to make Black people great again. Remember that slavery was only a small part of your history. The big part of your history has actually occurred long before slavery. And so I want you guys to keep that in mind as we think about how we're going to overcome this very temporary dark period in the history of this world that we're experiencing. Now, anyway, I want to say what's up, Gregory Glass. How are you? And hello to everybody else who's joining us on drboycetv.com. I want you guys to also know that tonight I'm going to actually have a couple of special guests that are going to roll through. Danielle Pierce from economicelevation.com is going to come through. Danielle Pierce is a real estate expert and a financial guru who's going to talk with me about a lot of different topics. We just have a whole smorgasbord of things we're going to talk about. So I said, you know what, fuck it, we just want to have some fun. Also, my man Willie D is coming by. Willie D from the Ghetto Boys. You know, Willie D also is an extraordinary activist and just a badass Black man, just a man who keeps it 100. And you guys know about our big Black Love celebration that Dr. Alicia and I are doing July 11th, 2020. Write it down in your calendar, 7/11/2020. We are going to get married on the south side of Chicago. And we will make this the royal wedding because Black women deserve a royal wedding. And I want the whole community to be involved. And so you all are invited to come to the wedding. All you got to do is RSVP. You can do that totally for free. And I will put up the link about 3 months before the wedding. And Willie is actually going to be in the wedding. Willie is going to be in the wedding. And yeah, so there you go. That's it. So that's my boy. He's my homie. And I'm actually going to go to his event in a couple of days. If you live down in H-Town, Willie is holding his event called 30 Years of Controversy, 30yearsofcontroversy.com. He's actually going to have a roast. I believe D.L. Hughley is going to roast him. I think he mentioned the name Mike Epps and a few other people that'll be there. In fact, I think Willie's in the building. Wait, is that Willie D?
What up, King?
What's happening, homeboy? How you doing, man?
How you doing? Welcome back.
My brother. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. We were just talking about you, so I know your ears are burning.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's all good, man. I appreciate you, everything you do.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, everybody, give Willie a big Black welcome to Dr. Boyce TV. Say hello to my brother and let him know in the chat how much you appreciate his excellent work. If you go check out his YouTube channel, he's doing amazing things and he's really giving back to the community. And so, Willie, let's jump right into it, man. So you invited me, and I was gracious, very happy to accept the invitation to your 30 Years of Controversy event that's going to happen in Houston in the next couple of days. Can you kind of tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, man. It's you know, I'm a bit of a comedy connoisseur, and I know people think I'm always serious and stuff, and you know, I do take life very seriously, but you know, there are times in my life where I do relax and, you know, let my hair down. And, you know, I enjoy myself. You know, I like a good laugh, but I typically don't allow the joke to be on me. But I like laughing, you know. And I thought, man, you know what? I like doing stuff outside of the box. And I think that this is probably going to be like one of the craziest things that I ever volunteered to do. You know, allow somebody to like just go in on me, to roast me. You know, I don't shoot the does, you know. I didn't do that I didn't do that growing up. I didn't do it in school. I didn't play the does, you know. So this is going to be very interesting. So I got Mike Epps and D.L. Hughley coming down, and, you know, Kid Play, a bunch of, you know, cats that I like in comedy. You know, Terry Grossman. And I got some of my closest friends and family that's gonna be there. So it's a very intimate, exclusive setting.
All right, and people can buy tickets. Like people can.
They can, but it's only, but it's the tickets. We just opened up to allow people to buy tickets like today. So it's only a very, very limited amount of tickets. And this whole roast will be filmed for television. So yeah, it's going. Yeah, that's something I didn't tell you that, but yeah.
Nice. Okay.
It's being filmed for television. Yeah.
So there's not that many seats available. So I guess anybody in Houston that wants to come, they better get the tickets now, right? This 30 years of controversy.com.
Absolutely. They just go to 30 years of controversy. That's the number 30, 30 years of controversy.com. Made it real simple. And that's 30 years really of controversy and influence, and not taking no shit from nobody, like and calling out the injustices that I see. There's a lot of it's a whole lot of corrupt authority out there. And oftentimes when you call out the authority and they're corrupt, they tend to, try to label you, try to call you, these certain kind of, names to try to get you to shut up, be quiet and accept your pain, in silence,
Right.
Yeah, they want you to be silent so they can be comfortable.
So I'm curious, man. Okay, so 30 years. So it's 30 years like 1989. That's what the year you started rapping? Is that?
That's not the year I started rapping. That's the year that I started making money. And so that's why I don't count. Like when I even look at new artists today, like, man, you ain't no rapper. Like, like a lot of times when, like, if you watch television, you check out the news, they'll say a rapper got killed. Well, and the way I look at it, like, unless you are unless rap pays your bills, you're not a rapper. It's like somebody saying that they're a doctor because they're studying medicine. They're going to school. They're going to school to be a doctor, but you're not a doctor until you get your degree, right? So you're not a doctor until you can start actually making money, operating on people and all this type of stuff that you do. So that's the way I look at it. So, every time a rapper get killed, they say rapper, somebody that rap get killed, a rapper got killed. And I'm like, who is this? I ain't never heard of this dude. This, like every 1 out of 2 people is a rapper now. 3 out of 4 people is a rapper now. I'm like, man, put some respect on my profession, man.
Well, it's a lot like starting a business. When people tell me they got a business, I try to figure out, okay, have you made any money yet? Now, it doesn't mean you're not legit, but it does mean that you have another level to go. Like, to me, when you make that first dollar, it's almost like a baby being born. Right. Before that, remember, there's a difference between having sex, getting pregnant, having a baby, and raising a baby, right? That's 4 different levels of parenthood. So it's the same way with, I think, career development. You got the idea like, okay, I want to be a rapper, and then you actually go in the studio and you're actually rapping. But then there's that next level of actually being a good rapper, and then there's the next level of being a professional rapper where you're actually making a living off of hip hop. So I imagine it's offensive that they call everybody a rapper, because it seems like there's like rappers are a dime a dozen these days.
It is, man. And to be honest, if I knew it would be this easy to get in it, I wouldn't have gotten in it. Because I like doing stuff outside of the box. I like stuff that's challenging, I don't like to do stuff that everybody can do. That's why I'm not a fuck boy. Anybody can be a fuck boy, Like, that's easy. It's a whole lot of cats out there that are fuck boys. That's easy. I want to be a stand-up man. That's not something that you see every day. I'm gonna be the dude that stand on principle. I'm gonna be a dude that's gonna stick to his convictions, and I'm not gonna waver with time. I'm not gonna like, okay, man, well, that's what they're doing these days. I'm not gonna just do what everybody else is doing just because somebody woke up one morning and said, okay, this is the agenda that we're gonna push now, and we'll get them in line by just repeatedly putting the information out there like that with the propaganda. See, that's all it is. Every time they try to get people, they get people to change their convictions. I won't even say conviction, because if you got convictions, that's a pretty solid thing. That's not something that just changed with the weather. But I'll say when they get people to change their views, right? They just turn on the propaganda machine, and Next thing you know, stuff that you said that you never accept, that's things that you said you would never do, you find yourself accepting and doing. So I'm not built like that. You know, I'm solid. I'm comfortable with being an alpha man, alpha male. There's no such thing as toxic masculinity. You know, I don't know where that come from, but I do know that that's part of the agenda. You know, so I don't buy into all of that kind of stuff, man. That there is, I heard somebody, you know, Pharrell did that new cover, and they called it new masculinity. There's no such thing as new masculinity. You're either masculine or you're not. Masculinity is not a trend. You see? So I don't understand why what they're saying that, you know, new masculinity. That's all part of the propaganda. It's all part of the brainwashing. And if you slow in the head, if you slow up top, you'll fall for it. But the people that watch your channel ain't that dumb like that. So, you know, I'm with y'all. I feel comfortable that you're getting the right information.
Oh yeah, man, we get it. I mean, speaking of propaganda, man, have you had any thoughts about this Harriet Tubman movie? Have you gone to see it? Do you have a like?
I have not, because I've been like submerged in this 30 years of controversy, the activities surrounding it. You know, I've been doing a lot of things, you know, a lot of like private events and things like that. And then I'm doing I got some other things going on in business. You know, I just bought a restaurant downtown. So y'all make sure y'all come to it. The Isles. In fact, that's where the after party will be for the roast. It'll be at the Isles.
How do you spell that?
ISLES.
ISLES. The Isles. Okay.
Isles.
So the Isles restaurant.
It's one block away from the Toyota Center. It's just one block over from the Toyota Center.
Oh, okay. So the after party. So 30 years of controversy.com is where people can buy the tickets, and and that's going to be now. Where's that going to be held at?
At the Majestic Metro Theater. That's why I used to the thing that really turned me on about this place is that I used to catch the bus there. Me and my brothers and cousins, we would catch the bus on the weekends, on Saturdays, to watch karate flicks. We pay our little 25 cents to get on the bus, and we go there and watch karate flicks. And now, you know, here I am, you know, some 40 years later, you know, being celebrated in the same theater, you know, front stage and center, you know. So it's just a beautiful thing. That's the cool thing about life, getting up and going at it and having drive every single day. As long as you put yourself out there and you work and you grind, there's no telling where you could end up. You never know where life can take you. Because I couldn't have never dreamed of being in this position when I was 11 years old, 12, 13, 14, 15 years old, catching the bus, paying my dollar to go into that theater. I never could dream of something like that. Now I'm looking at buying it. You know, I like the theater so much. Now I'm looking at buying it, but I could never even dream of just being on that stage and being celebrated for, you know, being in the music business and doing something that I love for 30 years. I couldn't have imagined that, but I put the work in, and I never wavered, you know. I persevered, kept going, and now I'm in this position where, you know, I got some of the biggest stars in Hollywood coming to Houston on Wednesday night to celebrate me. And you know, including the Dr. Boyce Watkins.
Yes, sir. I will be there, man. And you know, I'm gonna tell you, man. You know, a lot of people don't notice. Some of y'all that really follow Willie might know this, but I want to make sure everybody knows this. You were an extraordinary boxer before you ever became a rapper, right? So you was already if I'm not mistaken, were you the Golden Gloves champion of Texas or something?
Texas Golden Gloves champion, yeah, middleweight.
That's very impressive. And I think the reason I bring that up, man, is because, and what I want people to listen, you know, and pick up from this conversation, because we ain't just up here talking. We're talking because we want to help you. We want to give you give you the game of success. I don't connect. You know, I'm a second cousin of Muhammad Ali, actually, by marriage. And what I want people to understand is that there's a connection between success and being a fighter. You know what I mean? Like you. Oh, there's Danielle. How you doing, Danielle? This is Danielle Pierce, y'all. This is Willie D. Me and Willie were sitting there talking. We were talking about being a fighter. And the thing is, and let me tell you, man, one thing that I saw is see, by the way, man, my woman's up here gloating because I lost my passport. I was supposed to go to Ghana in a few weeks, and I couldn't find my passport, and she was up my ass all day. We will find your passport. I was like, I gotta replace it. I can't find it. I lost it. And now she just walked in with the shit. So she's just standing here giving me that look like, you see, this is what happens when you don't listen to black women. And so anyway, but I know better. But really though, like I remember when I saw you on that Netflix special, man. I got inspired actually with that one part where you said you and the Ghetto Boys, or I don't know if you and the Ghetto Boys or it was just you, but y'all went to New York and got booed off the stage, and you were like, I'm gonna be back. I'm gonna be back. And then you said a year later, it was dun 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 dun. Dun. Yeah. And I love that, man. Can you gotta tell that story? Because I want people to understand that sometimes you get knocked on the mat, but you gotta always get up. Tell us about that, man.
Well, that happened to me personally twice. Once as a solo artist and once as a member of the Ghetto Boys. When it happened to me as a solo artist, I went to a nightclub that they were having a talent show. And I went up against these guys called the Raw Flush. These dudes had a beatboxer, a DJ, and 2 MCs, and they were polished. They had already been winning consecutive weeks. They were already the kings of the hip hop nightclub area, scene. So I show up, I'm totally unprepared. I don't even have a song, and I go a cappella. I think I'm live. I get booed, smooth off the stage. I cuss the audience out. I say, yeah, motherfucker, I'll be back. And I came back the following week. I didn't win, but I didn't get booed either. Now, fast forward let's say maybe 4 years later, now I'm in the Ghetto Boys. And we're in New York City. This is 1990. We're in New York City at the Palladium. And we're on stage. We get out on stage. We come out on stage and everybody started booing us. They were booing us so loudly, so long that they started booing us in shifts. It was like this side booed, and they got tired, and then the other side started booing. They would get tired. Hey, I swear to God, I saw one dude taking a break from booing. He was doing like this here. They booed the hell out of us. So I remember about 2 songs in, Brad was saying, and let me say this. I should have prefaced this with what I'm about to say, but let me say this. The reason why they was booing us so badly is because we had a song called Mind of a Lunatic, and it talked about all kind of crazy stuff. And we also used the B word and H word back then, and they wasn't having in New York. They wasn't doing that. So they despised us. So before we even was announced, they were already booing us, and then they started booing when they said our name. So now we're like two songs in, and Scarface, he walked by, and we know, how rappers be on stage, we cross paths, and Scarface say, shit, you about ready to get out of here? I say, fuck these motherfuckers, we finna do our whole shit. I ain't come all the way down here, just quit. I said, man, we gonna do the whole set. So we did the whole set, whole 30-minute set. It's like 100 reporters out in the front, like, because they're there to cover us, because this song is very controversial. This is huge. And they're covering us throughout the media everywhere. The international media is there. So I'm like, man, and this is my first time in New York, and my first time playing New York. I'm like, nigga, I'm not finna get off this stage. I'm finna shine, So they booed us. And then at the very end, this was about the time when Trouble T. Roy had died. Trouble T. Roy was Heavy D's dancer, and he had a fall, horse playing at one of the arenas, and he fell to his death. So this was fresh on everybody's mind. And I said, I know y'all don't give a F about us, but I know somebody y'all do give a F about, Trouble T. Roy. And I said, so at the count of 1, 2, 3, I need everybody to say, repeat after me. I need everybody to say Trouble T. Roy. Now I say at the count of 1, 2, 3. I need everybody to say Trouble T. Roy. I say 1, 2, 3. Everybody said Trouble T. Roy. I said, yeah, motherfuckers, we'll be back. Bam! Slammed the mic and left. so 1 year later, yeah, it was Mind Playing Tricks, sold out Madison Square Garden. So for me, I'm kind of hard-headed, and I don't like getting embarrassed. So if somebody embarrasses me, you know, I feel like it is absolutely imperative that I embarrass them back immediately, as fast as I can. You know, I'm gonna show off where they go off. You dig what I'm saying? I'm gonna go off where they show off.
Man, I like that story, you know, because that's what I learned about, and Danielle could probably talk about this, is that successful people are hard-headed people. Like, you got to be stubborn about your shit. Like if you ain't stubborn about your shit, then you never get a chance to be the shit. You know what I mean? Like you because you got to work through some shit to get there. You're not gonna go out there most of the time and be successful every time, or be successful the first time. Right? You know, and I think that fighter mentality, you know, the fact that you as a boxer knew what it was like to take some blows and still realize that just because you took a blow don't mean you out of the game. To me, that's critical, because we got so many people out here, man, that think that because like they go up against white supremacy and some white man throw one blow at them and they're like, oh, I guess I'm gonna go sit over in the corner and cry about it. No, you don't do that. You do a counter punch. You know what I mean? You fight back, you know, whatever it is. So that's what I love, man. I want to ask you about this too, man. And either one, both of y'all can feel free to chime in on this. Right now, with this Harriet Tubman movie, I don't know if you saw this, man, but you and I talked a little bit about, you know, what was going on with Tariq Nasheed, and basically Tariq. News One actually blamed Tariq Nasheed for the failure of the movie, basically saying that, you know, the things that he said about the Harriet Tubman movie caused the movie to sink. Which, first of all, that's not true. The movie did not fail. The movie actually made more than it was expected. It was expected to make 7 to 9 million. It made 12 million. So the movie did fine. But there was a conversation, and you were talking about, you know, toxic masculinity, the image of the black man, stuff like that, where they took the Harriet Tubman story and they just changed it. Like they created this black bounty hunter in the movie that was chasing Harriet Tubman around in the movie. And that kind of flipped me out a little bit. And also what was interesting was, you know, in the article in News One, the guy basically said that black people, you know, like Tariq, or like people like that are kind of like not really so much mainstream, but are really talking this pro-black stuff, were the ones who derailed the movie. Do you have any thoughts about that? Either one of you.
I'll let Danielle jump in real quick because I don't know a lot about it. So, but I would just say, does that have anything to do with what Obama was saying? I heard Obama saying something about, you know, black folks with this, you know, he wanted to say pro-black, but he didn't. He was like, you know, this. I know what he was talking. It was like it was code. He's like he was using code words like, you know, you woke. That's what he's called it. He said this woke group or whatever.
You know, I think it does connect in the sense that you've got people that are just disgruntled, that want a better deal, that are negotiating a better deal with the world to say, you know, if you don't give us something for our vote, we're not gonna vote for you. If you don't give us a movie that we really want to see that's really telling an accurate story, we're not gonna give you our money just because somebody told us to. And so I think with Obama, his complaint was that the woke culture, as he called it, is quick to be critical of things, right? Quick to kind of say, you know, what it is. So he was basically saying that's not activism and stuff like that. But the problem that people had with Obama's comment was they were like, well, wait a minute, you ain't said shit about black people in years, like since the 70s. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and now the one thing you say about black people is something that's critical of the culture. And I think it does connect to News One, because it's almost like you got people that kind of say, you know, okay, black people, just go with the flow. Just do what you've always done. And there are people who don't go along with that.
Gatekeepers. Get them, Danielle. Get them.
First of all, good evening, Dr. Boyce. Hey, Willie D, how you guys doing? Sorry I showed up late to the show. But you're asking what do I think about the movie in general, or about the position that Newsweek took with regard to Tariq Nasheed?
I think just the idea that they feel that we ruined the movie, as opposed to actually asking, you know, why is it that we have an issue with the movie? You know, like, so for example, the fact that the historical consultant on the movie was a white lady, and basically people are connecting this lady, the historical consultant, with the fact that they literally created a black bounty hunter that chased Harriet Tubman out throughout the movie. And the black bounty hunter, from what I understand, I'm gonna go see the movie tonight so I can just double confirm everything. but basically the black bounty hunter is killed by her white slave master who protects her from this black man that's trying to kill her. So a lot of people have taken a real issue with that because there is no historical record anywhere of any black bounty hunter chasing down Harriet Tubman. So a lot of people kind of took an issue with that, basically saying, I'm not gonna go see the movie. But then you got people on the other side that say, you know, you're supposed to support things that are black. This is Harriet Tubman's story. Why don't you give it your money? But it's more complex than that. So I don't know if you guys had any thoughts in terms of just.
So I haven't seen the movie just yet. I'm actually going to see it with my children's school because they go to an all-black school and they're going on a field trip to go see the movie. So I'll be going to see it then this week. And I do think that I think all movies that are movies that as they are pushed into the theaters, that they take like liberties with the storyline. So I'm not as sure about if that's an issue or not. Honestly, I haven't seen the movie just yet to see how far they derailed it. But I will say that I'm not surprised that they would blame it on someone like Tariq Nasheed because I think it's convenient and it fits the narrative. I think that anytime they can make something that sounds bad and blame it on, you know, quote unquote, the woke culture, I think that, you know, they'll take an opportunity to do so.
Blame it on the black man.
Right.
Say it again.
Blame it on the black man. It's always blame it on the black man.
Yeah,
I think so too. I think that it's kind of funny, man. It's real interesting because, you know, I was thinking about. I know I brought up Tariq Nasheed because it looks like he was kind of getting it from different sides because on one hand you had the whole issue with the Harriet movie where they were saying that, you know, people like Tariq, because I was reading an article from a guy from News One who's basically saying people like him are questioning the movie and they're messing it up. But then at the same time, you had a whole situation at the exact same time. Tariq was raising money for his conference and Kickstarter. And because so many people complained that he was trying to raise $200,000, Kickstarter just disabled his account. Like they took all the money that was in it and they just suspended it. And so so I don't know if you guys saw that or not. But it was kind of interesting where people sort of, and it was almost like the energy I saw was that people felt that, you know, that this man trying to raise this kind of money, that somehow that means that you're taking money from black people and that it's wrong to do that. What do you guys think? Have you ever done events? And when you hear about somebody raising $200,000 to do, say, a conference or a convention, what do you all think about?
So I can answer that because I'll go first because I've been to events all the time and I've thrown a couple. When I spoke at a real estate event in Miami a couple months ago, that event was $160,000 to put on, and there were probably 100 people that were there. So they can get very, very expensive. So when I see $200,000, I'm like, okay, well, I mean, I don't think that that's this huge, fantastic amount of money to put on a conference. It just depends on what you're trying to do, where it's at, the venue. I mean, because if you throw it at one of these hotels, one of these big chains, like they want their money, they trying to get paid and you're going to pay them regardless. Like regardless of if you have all the people show up to your event or no people show up to your event, you still have that same bill to pay. So I don't think that $200,000 is ridiculous. I'm not surprised to hear that a company like Kickstarter would have disabled his account simply because that's the world that we live in. I think that, you know, as we call it, white supremacy has, you know, its tentacles everywhere. And so when you own a platform and you feel a certain type of way, and you see, you know, this group raising this money and you're not feeling that group and you had the power to disable it, I think you'll take the chance to do so.
Willie, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm with Danielle. It depends on what type of convention you're trying to put on, like what level of commitment that you have for the convention. You know, if you're doing a convention where it's at, you know, some like a 3-star hotel and, you know, you just got the small ballroom and they struggling for business, you can work out a lot of things where you can streamline that. And, you know, you bring on some local people to be a part of it. The people that you know, you ain't got to pay nobody to come inside, you know, to come from out of town. You ain't got to deal with flights. And, you know, you bring somebody inside, especially, you know, like you're going to be dealing, most likely, if you're going to bring somebody that can draw a crowd, you're going to be dealing with first-class flights, everything first-class accommodations. I know, you know, this roast that I have right now that's going on, oh, it costs money, like real money. Like everybody that's in part of this roast is first class. You got to pick them up from their home, take them to the airport, pick them up from the airport, bring them to the hotel, take them to the venue, take them back, and anywhere they want to go, that costs money, just transportation alone. Then you start talking about if you got fees attached to that, if you're talking about furniture, logistics, the staff. I mean, it's a lot of stuff. I'm not saying that it has to cost $200,000, but it depends on what kind of level of an event that you're trying to put on. If I was trying to put on just a roast where I just deal with the local people that's here in Houston, and I just got me a nice little club or something like that, or maybe even a ballroom or something like that, a small little place, I could have probably did or something like this, for almost nothing. But when you start talking about, interrupting these people that got tour schedules to bring them down to do something for you, that's costly. And when you're talking about going to the finest theaters, in your city, that costs money. You talk about living at the, at the Post Oak. I will employ any one of you right now to just do a quick Google search. Those rooms, like it's not cheap. It's not cheap. So it just depends on what type of level you want your event to be on. I know conventions that cost $1 million to put on every year. There are some conventions that cost $1 million to put on. So I wouldn't be, it really wouldn't be my business, for what somebody, what somebody charging for their convention, what it costs for somebody to put their convention on. Either I want to go to it or I don't. I don't care what they pay for it. I don't care if they're doing it for free or if they paid $1 million. It ain't my business, because I ain't gonna lose a nickel. I ain't gonna lose no sleep. If it don't win, I'm not gonna lose any sleep behind it. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So but to answer the question, I think just at the end of the day, it just depends on what type of level of event you're trying to put on.
Well, what I think it is, and I think you hit on a good point when you said you don't lose sleep, whether he wins or loses. It doesn't affect you, right? It's $200,000.
Yeah, I mean, now but to be clear, Tariq is my homie. I would like to see him win, but
right.
Y'all, in all honesty, if he lose, I'm not gonna lose any sleep. You know what I'm saying? Tariq is gonna lose the sleep. Tariq gonna lose sleep, and whoever he owe money to, if he owes some money, they gonna lose sleep. I wouldn't lose any sleep.
Yeah, and that's what I think that people, I didn't really want to chime in. I mean, y'all should go look it up. I know y'all rise above the fold, and y'all real focused, and y'all both bosses in your own right. But I encourage you to kind of look at some of the drama, because it's really messier than I'm describing it. I'm just describing it in a non-messy fashion so we can really understand it in a way where we elevate and see the light in terms of how we can all be better. Because the thing about it is that it becomes one of those crabs in a barrel kinds of situations, or like it's almost like sometimes when you're in the Black community, you're trying to construct something. It's almost like growing flowers in the middle of weeds. Where I believe Tariq's Kickstarter account got taken down because a bunch of trolls went over and reported it to Kickstarter, right? And so to me, it's unfortunate that you can't have somebody in the community, one of your own, somebody that's that's out here, that you believe in, that's trying to do something constructive, but yet you can have a white business come into the Black community and take millions, and nobody will say a word. Nobody says anything about it. But a Black man goes and says, I want to raise 100,000, 200,000, $500,000, whatever. Then suddenly it becomes this big problem. And I remember just saying, what's the big problem? I think we got bigger fish to fry than whether or not somebody makes $200,000 for a convention. I mean, Black people give away $1.2 trillion a year, and we don't talk about 98% of that money.
So let me say this. So I was in the club business for a long time. I've had many clubs in Houston, and then I just got back into it, right? So I know that Black people will often go to clubs or a restaurant and they start head counting. They start counting how many people in there and what the fee is, what they charge. Oh man, they make it $2,000. They make about $15,000. They had to make about $30,000 a night. But
yeah, we call it counting your pockets. That's what you're talking about.
Exactly. Yeah. They pocket watching other Blacks. but I don't see them walking to the I'm serious. I've never heard a black person walk into a restaurant, a white restaurant, or a white boy and say, man, they probably made about 40,000 a night, man. They made 30,000. But they will just invariably do that when it comes to black businesses. I think one of the big problems is that we just don't like to see each other happy, and we think that we don't deserve it. It's like Jay-Z being a billionaire. A lot of people had something to say about his billionaire status, but all these white boys that became billionaires and who they have supported throughout the years, many times they went to these white boys' arenas in town. We go to these games. Texas, we support our local basketball, football, baseball teams and stuff, and we never pocket watch. We never try to figure out how much money these guys are making. But as soon as the black guy do it, oh, he must be Illuminati. We got this thing where when it comes to money, we still, I believe, have a hang up, like we don't deserve the best, like we don't deserve it. Even when it comes to black banks, you start talking about a black bank, putting your money in a black bank. Man, I ain't put my money in no black bank. You damn fool. It's insured the same. It's insured to the same amount of money as any bank you've ever stepped your dumb ass into. It's insured by the same damn people. The Fed is insured up to $100,000 or up to $250,000, whatever it is. But it's insured the same way as any bank that you could take your money into. Most of you ain't gonna even have $150,000 anyway. So that little fucking $3,000 that you probably maxed out on, you just saved all your life, or that $5,000 or $15,000. Best believe if you put your money in a black bank, if something go wrong, the feds got that $15,000 for you. You're gonna be straight. But no, we walk into the black bank and we looking all at the floors and shit. We looking at the dirt on the ground. We trying to see if the paint match. We trying to see how old the damn soap. You want to sit on the soap, see how much spring in the soap and shit. You know, we want to look at the damn forms and see how many that ain't got no forms out. You know what I'm saying? You know, we just look for shit. When it comes up, we just go looking for shit.
So I so want to not be laughing right now, and because what you're describing is so true, and I'm so sad that it happens to be true. Like I see it, and I don't like to talk about it because I don't want to. I think what you talk about, you tend to attract more of, but I know exactly what you're referring to. I think the issue that a lot of us have, and I'll be honest, I've had this issue in the past too. We think a little money is. We think that small amounts of money are, worth a lot more than what they are. Like when you said $15,000, a lot of people think that that's a whole bunch of money. $15,000 is not a lot of money at all. I think that's one problem. And the other issue is that we don't like to see people doing things that we can't see ourselves doing. So if you have a club and you say that your club is doing, $50,000, a weekend or something like that, because those numbers seem so astronomical and so far out of reach for the average person, we don't like to see other people doing that, because then it kind of reinforces our own insecurities. Like, well, damn, if he doing that, and I'm making $50,000 a whole year, then I must not be shit. So let me, go tear down this establishment right here. I think that that's the problem right there.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that sometimes jealousy comes from the fact that your success reminds me of my failure.
Yes.
Like if we're both the same height, I can feel pretty tall, but when you suddenly grow, I'm gonna start feeling real short if I'm not secure about who I am. Right? And I think that what I would encourage people to consider is, when you see somebody winning, two things you can do as opposed to hating on them. One, learn from them. And then two, if you're lucky, try to collaborate with them, try to help them out. And then reciprocity kicks in and they'll want to help you out. Right. So I think that what I find is people that tend to be most successful, and going back to what Willie was talking about earlier, one is you got to be a fighter. You got to be real stubborn. You got to keep getting up no matter how many times they knock you down. Number two, if you have an abundance mindset that says, okay, you're winning, I want to win. I'm going to help you win in hopes that you'll return the favor and help me win. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, right? But I found that when I became more open and supportive of other people, that shit comes right back to you. Especially when you're talking about decent people, because you can't build wealth and power without community, without coming together. Other cultures really understand that really well. In China, the Chinese move like they're one person, man. That's why they're so powerful, because they'll have 1 billion people on code moving like it's one giant person, you know, and that's because from the time they're little, they're not raised on this arrogant like me shit. They're raised as children. I taught in China, man. As children, they're taught that you are not more important than the group. You must help elevate the group. If you start getting a whole lot of attention just on yourself and thinking only about yourself, you actually get shamed by the group. Like that's seen as arrogance. So basically, you know, I think as Black folks, you know, and those of us who just kind of get it, you know, don't get mad, you know, just support. Like, okay, I hope you win, good luck. Or if you don't want to be a part of it, just step away, go do something else. But I think attacking another Black person, I think my thought for you would be, ask yourself, is there a better use of your energy? Is there a better adversary you could take on other than that Black man? You know, because I'm gonna tell you, Popeye's Chicken came in and took about 50 million out of the Black community. Ain't none of these people saying shit about that. And they're gonna get another 50 million because they're about to release that chicken sandwich. But now they got all their weapons up. They're ready. Now they got extra buns and extra chicken.
But they still ran out, boys. I'm in Houston, and they still ran out in Houston today. I had to go to 2 locations, man.
Yeah, man. Like they're robbing Black people.
Look here, they still ran out, but guess what's not gonna happen? Nobody's gonna say, see that? That's my own food with niggas, man. They wasn't even prepared. I went there, man, they ain't got no damn bread. They ain't gonna say that about Popeyes. Let Popeyes have been a Black-owned business. They would definitely call them out to say they would have attributed the fact that Popeyes was not properly prepared to their Blackness. That's what they would have done. And this Black people that do this a lot. There's a lot of these coons out here, and I'm telling you, I'm getting ready to do this coon 3. I got to do it, man. I tried to leave it alone, but they would not let me rest, man. I got to go in again, man. It's coon hunting season. I got to go in again.
Man, you're 100% correct. You know, ain't nobody out here. And I hope you guys get it in the chat. Let us know if you understand what we're talking about. Let us know if this is sinking in. Just give us a yes in the chat. Let us know if you get the message here. Also, please hit the thumbs up button. And Willie, man, I know you got to go. We kept you longer than we talked about, man. But I want to make sure everybody has the information. Some of y'all live in Houston. I know a lot of the people that follow us are in Houston. I'm gonna be there, and I support 100%. So go to 30 years, the number 30yearsofcontroversy.com. You can go to the Willie D's roast. D.L. Hughley is going to be the roast master. Mike Epps will be there. A lot of other people going to be there. I think it's Corey. Is Corey? What's the name?
Corey not going to be there, but I do have a couple of giants in comedy other than Corey that will be there. Okay. Surprise guest. You did.
Okay. All right.
In addition to who gonna be on that stage.
All right. So 30 years, 30yearsofcontroversy.com. Everybody go buy a ticket and go support and make sure when it's gonna be at the Majestic Metro Theater. Also Willie's Restaurant. Support Willie's Restaurant if you roll through Houston. It's called The Isles, like island. The Isles, ISLES. Go check out the good food there and support the brother.
1515 P Street, one block from the Toyota Center.
Okay, 1 block from the Toyota Center. What's the address again?
1515 Pease, P-E-A-S-E.
1515 P Street. Okay. Yeah. All right, man. Well, I will say thanks, man. Me and Danielle are gonna hit a couple quick topics real quick, and because I want to let Danielle kind of do her thing, man. But I appreciate you coming through, Willie, and let us know if you need anything, brother. I look forward to seeing you down in Houston.
Absolutely. See you later. Right. Good meeting you, Danielle.
Good night. Take care.
All right. And in case you guys, I don't know if Danielle, if I told you that Willie's gonna be in my wedding on July 11th.
You did not say that.
Yes. He's gonna be one of the groomsmen. Yeah. So
he's gonna be one of the groomsmen.
Yeah. He said he offered to do it. So I said, okay, man.
You gonna have one of the ghetto boys as your groomsmen? That's pretty dope.
I think it is an absolute honor. I think Willie is I like him because you and him actually are very similar people in the sense that both of you are great people to work with because it's just nice to work with nice, intelligent, balanced, productive people. And just kind of, speaking on that, I didn't know if you were totally briefed on kind of what happened with this stuff with Tariq and Kickstarter and all that stuff. Kickstarter basically killed Tariq's campaign. He was raising money for his convention, and they shot down his campaign. and they didn't really give a good reason. They said he violated some of the rules, right? But it was funny because Tariq actually showed where a guy had raised $55,000 for potato salad to literally make potato salad. Like he started off saying, I want to raise $10 to make a plate of potato salad. And people got excited and gave him 55,000, I guess, for whatever reason, because I guess white people have money like that. And so but you know, after Tariq had raised, I think he'd raised $30,000 out of the 200, so he was doing really well. And they just came in and shut it down and took his money. I think that's a reason why we have to have our own platforms, and I don't trust these platforms, the Kickstarters and all this stuff. What do you think?
I think that's it exactly. I think it's the same thing. We run into the same issue just across different industries, but it always comes back to the same thing. When you don't own the platforms, I mean, this is the end result. You are subject to the whims of whoever actually is in charge. So you're subject to, whatever rules they have in place, whatever emotional state they're in, whatever unwritten rules are in place. Like you just basically got to toe the line and do whatever they say. And even if you are following the written rules, so to speak, as you know, because you've had pages taken down on Facebook, there's also a set of unwritten rules that you can't violate as well, right? So they don't come out and tell you this, but if he's like, okay, well, you do X, Y, and Z, well, you've made it to this list, and they'll even tell you, we don't even have to tell you our reasons why. We don't have to disclose the reasons why. You're done, you're canceled, and that's it. And that's what happens.
Well, you know what this is and you're right. This is and I think Tariq actually mentioned this on his page. I was texting him back and forth a little bit this week, but basically, that's what we refer to basically as the "I told you so" that white people use when they own a platform. They just say, "Look, we're going to tell you that you can't do that here because we said so," right?
Yeah.
And that's it. And that's what ownership does. Ownership is important for Black people because if you don't own things, then other people kind of become almost like your economic parents. You know how your parents just basically make the rules and you say, well, why is that? That's not fair. And they're like, because I said so. Right. And that's it. And so anyway, so I want to write this word down, guys. Blackenough.com. This is a platform we have. It's a lot like Facebook. And you can go there, you can have conversations, you can find people in your own community that you can connect with. You can have networking events in your city. And so join blackenough.com. This is basically, our supplement or replacement for Facebook, however you want to use it. We don't ban anybody for anything. So feel free to join us at blackenough.com. I'm mentioning that. I like to mention it every time some white platform shows how racist they can be, because it really kind of burns me up. Now, speaking of platforms, at economicelevation.com, Danielle, you actually you have a lot of conversations about real estate and also ways to make extra money. Now, let me ask you this. What do you think are kind of the key things that sort of making that little bit of extra money did for you when you were, say, on the corporate plantation, or when you left the corporate plantation before you started making like a lot of money? What was the difference for you when you were able to make like that extra $1,000 or $1,500 a month?
That is such a great question. I don't think anybody has ever asked me that. And I've been asked, I get asked questions all the time, all day, every day. So that's pretty good. So it took me, Dr. Boyce, 5 years to replace my corporate salary. So I'm probably one of the people who tend to be the most honest about entrepreneurship. Like I prayed to get laid off. And then I got laid off, and my ass was not ready. I was like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm broke, I'm struggling. Like it was really, really bad for a while. And it's because, of course, I come from a family of, worker bees. Nobody knew anything about running a business. So I struggled for a good, 5 years. I finally found one niche within real estate that helped me get over that hump and replace my corporate salary. But before that, I was doing things like I was selling used cars. So I would buy a used car off the internet, and then I would resell it on like Craigslist. And today, if I were doing it, I would resell it on Facebook Marketplace, because that's kind of the Facebook is becoming the hub for everything. And I think that's what the goal is, like world domination, to be honest. But anywho, so I flipped used cars. I did mystery shops. I did apartment mystery shopping. A couple of years ago, I did FEMA inspections. That was really just to get the experience of doing so. But it gave me hope is what it did, because a lot of us like to act like, oh God, the noise, sorry.
Awesome.
A lot of us like to act as though people are broke because they're spending all their money at Starbucks, or they're spending all their money buying Jordans, or they're spending all their money on hair weave. Well, that's not really true for a lot of people. Like, a lot of people just don't have enough money because, they don't make a lot of money and it's expensive to live in America. I mean, that's just the reality of it. So sometimes you have to fight on the income side. So when I start bringing in that little money from side hustling, and it actually, it can be a pretty decent amount of money, that gave me hope. It gave me gave me an opportunity to start building a cushion, and it gave me some breathing room. When you're always stressed about money, you make bad decisions. Trust me, I know. I think most people do. So when you can alleviate that pressure, even a little bit, it makes all the difference in the world.
All right. Well, everybody, I'm talking to Danielle Pierce. Danielle Pierce is from economicelevation.com. That's our platform, economicelevation.com. And if you guys could, please hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. And I want to answer a couple of questions I saw in the chat. Somebody asked, why don't you create a Black Kickstarter, Dr. Boyce? And that's a great question. We've already did that. We actually created a platform called blackcrowdfunders.com. And it was an absolute, complete, total failure because it's very difficult to get a critical mass of people onto a platform. It's also very difficult to staff it and to have people actually running it. And so, when people give, somebody like a Tariq Nasheed or whoever it is, it doesn't have to be Tariq. When you give, hey, what's up, buddy? Is that your son? Ah, okay. I love seeing a little nice young entrepreneur, future entrepreneur of America. Yeah, I'll tell you what, when we talk about growing Black businesses in a somewhat chaotic community that doesn't always support entrepreneurship, it doesn't understand the importance of ownership, it's really difficult because because first of all, it's hard to win, in terms of getting capital. Lack of access to capital is a real problem. Families and family members may not be willing to put up their own bread to support you. And so money's kind of scarce. But then if you do start winning, then you become a villain because you're winning, right? You have people that will assume that something's wrong with you or wrong with your business, or they will try to undermine what you're working on. And, because, oh, that's too much money. Who needs that much money? What's going on? And I think that's why you don't see as many things being built in the community, I believe, is because we don't support. But then also when somebody gets a critical mass of support, someone says, oh, that person is scamming and they're tricking Black people and they're deceiving the community and robbing the community. And so ultimately, there's so many things I've always wanted to do, but it's like, my God, like where are we going to get the resources to do it?
So I tend to agree with that. I think that we don't give each other the grace during the learning curve that we need to. So I'll give you an example. Let's say you want to start a burger shop. So you're basically let's say you're competing with McDonald's, but since you're just getting started, maybe, the menus aren't all the way done the way that you wanted to. The building doesn't look the way you want to. Kind of a lot of what Willie D just said with regard to people coming to bank, we looking at the floors. I've heard people say about Black banks, they'll say things like, oh, well, they don't have enough locations, or they don't have enough options online, or they don't have mobile apps. And it's like, well, really don't have a lot of money, so it really doesn't matter what bank that you're going to. But that's the kind of nitpicking that we do, and that I've seen personally. Marcus Klein from Freedom Home Academy, who I love, by the way.
Oh, I love FHA. Marcus. Are your kids go to Freedom Home Academy?
They did when we were in Chicago. Absolutely.
That's
absolutely. I can't figure out why any Black parent who has children, especially Black boys in Chicago, is not sending their child to FHA. But we are so stuck. And he will tell you, I'm sure you talked to him before. He says that parents come in all the time and say, well, can you compete with, Northside Preparatory, or this school over here, or this school up here on the North Side? And they are extremely doubtful of what he says that the children can do. And then when they see the 3-year-olds reading and the 4-year-olds and the 5-year-olds doing business, law, and biology and physics, they're literally blown away because they do not believe that it is possible to teach Black children at that level of excellence in an all Black school. Or they'll come and say things like, oh, well, this setting is not diverse enough, and I want my child to experience, a diverse school situation. Like, we come in and do the absolute most, and he hears it a lot. Like, I know he doesn't even say probably like half the things that people tell him, but we are skeptical. In general, we're skeptical people, and we just don't give each other grace to get to the point where we can compete with the mega corporations. You know what I mean? Like, Chase wasn't built in a day. Matter of fact, Citibank wasn't built in a day. These are 100-year-old corporations. A lot of them got their start from the slave trade, but we just overlook all of that and just put all our money there, religiously.
Well, in a way, a new business is a little bit like a newborn baby. A newborn baby, when it's first born, is very fragile. It's not going to be able to compete with grown ass adults. Some babies are so fragile they can't even compete with with colds and flus and infections that might be in the air. So what do you do with a baby? You put it in an incubator so that it's protected from all of that. And then when it gets out of the incubator, it's protected by the mother and the father until the child is strong enough to do things on their own, right? And a business is the same way. You can't take a baby business and expect it to go out and compete with grown ass companies that have been around for 25 years. Like a little baby, it doesn't matter. You could have a baby version of LeBron James, who's going to be 6'8", 250 pounds. But when he's 2 years old, he could not compete against a grown man. Even a tiny grown man could have killed him, right? So a lot of times with our businesses, they are like that. They're like little babies that are going to grow into big, strong, specimens, but they must get some sort of incubation and protection by the community. Meaning that if when you love that child, you have to nurture and protect it and allow that thing to grow. You correct, when you're raising a child, you're teaching the child, you're correcting the child, because the child's first time he walks, he's not going to get up and run, he's going to stumble, So the first time a Black business owner starts serving customers, they're not going to do it perfect. They're not going to do it as well as Amazon and Walmart and all these other big companies. They're going to stumble, right? And you correct them, right? You come back and you say, hey, you probably do better if you do this, or you need to fix that or whatever, but you don't kill the business. And that's the thing. We will attack our newborn babies, right? We will either abort them or we will attack them from an economic standpoint. And basically, when you're doing that, when you're aborting all your good ideas, because you're killing everybody's dreams before they even get a chance to get off the ground, because we tell, oh, you can't do it, it ain't gonna work, you wasting your time. And then two, when the dream starts taking off, you ridicule it and you attack it like, oh, you messed up, I ain't never, but this is why I don't buy from Black-owned businesses, right? And you're basically killing the possibilities of that baby because you're attacking a baby as if it's a grown man, right? So ultimately, what I encourage us to do is I need us to commit to one thing. Everything comes back to love. I am absolutely convinced, Danielle, I swear to God, that love is not only the most powerful force in the universe, but it is the key to it's the key to about 80 to 90% of success individually and collectively. Black love breeds trust, it breeds commitment, it breeds the willingness and the ability to also, most importantly, love each other despite our flaws, right? If you love Black people, you got to be able to love through a lot of stuff, right? A lot of walls and a lot of challenges and a lot of trauma, right? So I think that loving Black people and loving and supporting Black businesses and seeing the growth of your community means loving the community despite our flaws, right? Despite the fact that if you go out here, I'm gonna tell y'all the truth, this is the way it's gonna be, for real. If you go out here and you're supporting every Black business that comes in your path, here's what's gonna happen to you. You're going to get screwed sometimes. You might get robbed. You might get scammed. You might get bad service. You might catch an attitude. You gonna go through it all, right? And to me, my test for you as to whether or not you're really committed to this thing is, can you know that you're gonna go through all of this and love your community despite the flaws that you're going to bump into, despite the challenges, and that's what I learned. I learned that love isn't just when you can just commit to something when everything's good. It's really about being able to commit when you start seeing all the bullshit that might come with it and knowing that the good is going to outweigh the bad, right? And so that's what I think, so I think when it comes to supporting these Black businesses, I hope you guys can commit in the chat right now. Just give me a yes if you follow what I'm saying. Give me a yes. Let's make the commitment now as Black people that we're going to do our best to love ourselves and love each other despite our flaws. Start with yourself. Some of y'all have flaws. Some of y'all have little flaws. Some of you got big flaws. Some of you haven't done as well as you could do. Some of you have shortcomings. It's okay. It's all right to not be perfect. Ain't none of us worthy, really. I mean, you really talk about when you go to church and they say ain't nobody worthy. Like, I could have 10 pieces of paper. I can't write down all the flaws I have, right? But one of my keys to success in life, and I want to give this to you guys as you walk away, is that there was a day where I realized, wait, I'm good enough, right? I mean, and that's so important. I think it's important to understand, especially as a Black person. Like, it don't matter if I fuck up, I'm still good enough. It don't matter if I'm not ready, I'm still good enough. Doesn't matter if I came up short sometimes, I'm still good enough. Doesn't matter if I'm not always as perfect as I want to be, I'm still good enough. And that was self-love, Danielle, to be able to say, okay, here's Boyce in this flawed form that he is. I'm going to keep working on him and making him better because I'm committed to that son of a bitch. Come hell or high water, till death do us part, for rich or for poor, for sickness and in health. And then I think you can extrapolate that and expand that love to your people, right? Are you committed? You must marry your blackness. That means for rich or for poor, in sickness and in health, till death do you part. And if you're in it like that, then that gives you the best chance to win. It don't guarantee you're going to win, but the best chance to win is when you're really in it with both feet, just like marriage. What do you think, Danielle? Feel free
I would only add one other point to that Black excellence that you just spit out a couple seconds ago. The only other thing I would add would be this. I think we also have to stop saying negative things like that start with Black people don't know how to XYZ. Mm-hmm. I hear a lot of conversations, both in real life and online, where people are talking about, why don't Black people, all the rich Black billionaires and millionaires, get together and do their own, TV station or buy their own NBA team or buy their own NFL team. I listened to that entire Byron Allen interview on The Breakfast Club, the whole hour of it, instead of just the snippet that I saw, because for one, I'm a sapiosexual, so I was listening to it like, oh my God, yes, tell me more. But when he was talking about how he was talking to the guy that was shopping Oprah, and the people were like, I'm not putting that nigga on TV, right? This is Oprah Winfrey. I don't know if you caught that part, but that's part of the interview. He said he was talking to a guy, and the guy, I forget the guy's name, but the guy was shopping the Oprah show, and like 98% of people are like, I'm not doing it. I'm not putting it. Like one person specifically stated, I'm not putting that nigger on TV. So it's not as simple as, let's just get together and go buy an NBA team or NFL team. There are structures in place designed to keep us out and to make the process as difficult as it possibly can be, if not impossible, just like they're doing Byron Allen. So I'm going to be glued to the TV or the internet November 13th to find out the outcome of that case, because it just goes to show it's not that we don't know how to do certain things or we don't desire to do certain things, like work together, start companies, have our own platforms. It is inherently difficult to do so in America. And again, that's by design. So we have to keep that in the back of our mind. Like, there are literally forces that are constantly working against that happening 24/7. So what Byron Allen is doing, and other people who are, and like him, he's fighting, I'm not going to say an impossible battle, but he's going up against a monster. And we have to be mindful of that when we're just throwing out things like, oh, why don't this millionaire go do this with their money? Well, it's literally not that easy, right? Like it's a lot that goes into it.
Well, and I'll tell you who has more money than all the Black billionaires and millionaires on earth. It's the people, the community. The community, if we come together under common causes, we can do more than any one individual can ever do. And white people do this all the time. Asian people do it all the time. I think several of the top 10 largest banks on earth are in China. And the reason is not because one wealthy Chinese person owns any of these banks. It's because thousands and thousands of shareholders all pool their money together and they own the bank together. Apple Computer is not owned by any one person. Apple's owned by thousands and thousands of shareholders, including myself, who all pool our money together, and we all own a piece of Apple, right? And so, ultimately, I think for us as a community, as we're asking, what are the millionaires doing? What are the billionaires doing? We must also ask, what are we doing? What are we committed to, right? So when you see somebody come out with a product or a film or whatever, that commitment to buying Black, that is literally, Danielle, one of the most important crusades that I'm on in the community, because I figured out that if I can convince Black people to just increase our buying Black by just say 10%, yep, that would literally create thousands and thousands of Black millionaires and a couple of billionaires to go with it. Like literally just 10%. If we take, let's say we're giving away 1.2 trillion and we give away 120 billion less, and we keep that circulating in our community and it circulates 4 times. Well, 120 billion times 4 is over half a trillion, about $500 billion, $480 million, right? Or excuse me, 480 billion. Right? With a B, right? So you're talking about more money than any reparations package that they're ever going to approve in Congress. You're talking about $500 billion a year, every year, no matter what, right? So basically, the key to our reparations, where the word reparations comes from the word repair, right? Yep. Repair in our community. The key to repairing the community is to understand and just accept the fact that we're going to probably be the ones who do most of that repair. And that's actually good, because when you get it done, you control the outcomes. You control,
Yeah.
you get access to the benefits of that. And it's not as if somebody's doing something for you. So, so what I'll say, Danielle, let me ask you, I'll let you get the last word in because I know you gotta go. Economic elevation. I think somebody was asking about economic elevation and some of the things that you do on the platform, and if it's good for somebody in say in another country. Tell us a little bit about economic elevation and the things that you do there.
Okay, so Economic Elevation is a platform where it's very laser focused to really just oh my gosh, hold on one second.
Oh, she got kids, y'all. So you know how that is. Hit the thumbs up button, by the way. While
Ooh,
we're
yeah, they it's only
did,
my one that I have to worry about who
did
just
you have to issue a little quick death threat to get them to?
yeah, it's a little bit.
That's good. Go ahead.
So the one of the courses is a side hustle package, and that's really geared towards people who are looking to get into real estate but just need to stack some more money first. It's not really, that's not the main premise of the platform. Outside of that, I teach a course on tax lien investing and tax deed investing. I've purchased personally 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tax lien and tax deed properties for less than $10,000 over the past couple of years. But more important than that, I've also showed a few, like close to a couple hundred people how to do that exact same process as well. So it works. There's a lot of information out there. Even in our community, when we talk about, what are you doing to help the Black community? I tend to fight on the side of I help people make money. That's what I do. I help people get started in real estate and be successful. I also have a business where I repair and maintain foreclosed properties. And I also show other people how to do that. I have plenty of reviews, testimonials. You can find them on Google, Facebook page, the course website. You can find them in a variety of places. And I state that because, again, there's a lot of information out there that doesn't work, but I am very focused on things that I do know. Very targeted in the people that I talk to. So if your goal is to buy a tax lien property, then I'm talking to you because I can help you. If your goal is to have a business where you're working to repair and maintain these bank-owned properties, which is probably going to increase exponentially if there is a recession that's coming, then I'm also speaking to you as well. Like those are the people that I'm looking to work with. The side hustles, I can help you for that as well, if you're just looking for a way to stack some more money, but eventually with the goal of getting into real estate. Like that's my end game, is for people to invest in real estate and also to start businesses.
All right. So if you guys are interested in talking to Danielle further, you can go to economicelevation.com. That's economicelevation.com. And also, I want to make sure I acknowledge and say thank you to those who donated in the chat. Your money was put to good use. Stephen Hutchinson, Dr. Watkins, Sean Rochester, author of The Black Tax, wants to meet you. I'm in Philly. My company is Power Tax. We do income taxes and teach financial literacy. Well, have them send an email to manager@boycewatkins.com. That's manager@boycewatkins.com. Also, I want to say thank you to, let's see here. Give me a second. I'm clicking the little button here. Lakeem Muhammad, who says, our unity is more powerful than an atomic bomb, as taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That is absolutely correct. Big shout out to the Nation of Islam. I love what the Nation of Islam does for the world. And Windu777, thank you for your support as well. And anybody else who wants to be a consistent supporter of the platform and help us grow Black media, we're gonna be releasing 3 movies this year. We're gonna release the Black Love Blueprint Part 2, #Boyce and Alicia, where Dr. Alicia and I, she's a relationship therapist, so we're gonna do a whole film on that topic. Number 2 is Black Capital, produced by or directed by Peter Parker, who is a heavy, high in demand young filmmaker, young brother. I like doing things that connect to our millennials, and this is big for the millennials. And the third one is by noted and respected filmmaker Rick Mathis, called Young Moneymakers, which is going to talk about young people who know how to make money. So those are the 3 films we're going to release this year under Boyce Watkins Films. So I'll keep you guys posted on that. We also have theblackloveblueprint.com if you want to see the trailer for our latest release. So feel free to go to theblackloveblueprint.com. So one more time, economicelevation.com. That is Danielle's platform. And I want to say thank you very much, Danielle, for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Dr. Boyce. Again, sorry about the background noise. Appreciate you guys that are watching. Thank you so much. And I'll be talking to you soon.
Yeah, all right. Well, she's got the kids, and y'all, anybody here got kids? If you got kids, shout it out. Shout out your kids. Our kids are the future, believe it or not. I know sometimes when I look at my kids, I'm like, oh my God, what kind of future do we have? But you know what? I'll tell you what. I think at the end of the day, though, kids teach you so much about patience. also remember that that's a huge investment that we're making. And that's where our hard work has to be. Like, I think really putting our energy into our kids, teaching them well, encouraging them as much as possible, and making sure that they can witness the revolution. I think that's what's going to make them go to a level that we can't even imagine, you know. So so keep loving your kids. I know it takes a lot of work, you know. I know it drives you crazy, but we all got to love them, because that's all we get. So thank you very much, Danielle. I appreciate
All
it.
right. Thank you, Dr.
All right.
Boyce. Let's see you guys
All right.
next time.
You
Bye-bye.
guys have a good night. All right. Bye-bye.